Good evening. I was doing a last-minute search on my desk for a micro USB cable. I think I failed. Hang on. I've got a serious repair to make. Without that, we could not have done the show. It's still screwed up. Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Not really, but it happens. So has been much of my day. I spent most of the day out beta testing today. And when I say most of the day, I mean, yeah, most of the day. I started getting things set up around 10:30, 10:45. And then, 5:30, I think, is when I finally came in. So, I'm a little beat. Anyway, wow, the news. I would come in to grab a drink or what have you, and I would come in and I'd have another 10 notifications of headlines that I'd have to go through. It was like, wow. A lot of news today. No stepping off a cliff that I see at this point. But we're building up to it. That's one thing I'm pretty certain of. We're building up to that cliff. A lot of craziness. A lot of craziness coming out. I don't have really anything in particular to talk about. Like I say, my mind and everything was pretty preoccupied today. Don't really have anything as far as we're concerned to update you other than I did all that beta testing today. I didn't get the Anderson connector done on the UPS for the computer desk here. I'm gonna try to get to that tomorrow. I think I came up with a way, because initially I was gonna take the system down and put it up over on the table behind me and do the solder connections there, because I use a little bitty micro torch for that instead of a soldering iron, because it's a whole lot of solder and it's a big connector. So I use a little mini micro torch or whatever you want to call it on it, a little butane deal. It works better. I've even got a 60-watt soldering iron, and it works better than that for that particular use. So I come up with a way that I can safely do that down there under my desk and not have to worry about, hot dripping solder or anything else. So I'm going to try to get that knocked out, maybe even before I go out tomorrow. Because I plan, if weather permits, to try again. Because it's been gorgeous days. I mean, it's been absolutely gorgeous to be out there. Not too hot, not too cool. It's just perfect. But other than that, I don't got much for you. My head's been stuck out there all day. Let's see. I do have several headlines I brought up. I figured I'd just kind of breeze through stuff. It won't be necessarily such a quick night like last night, but nonetheless, we'll try to breeze through it. Fun times. I can't wait to try this out and check this out. What is that, Watchman? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's lubricant. It's lube, right? And I cannot wait to check out this lube. It's graphite lube. Now, come on. It's graphite lube. It's for locks. And so anywho, the landlord was using it on one of his properties today, and that's all he needed to do. So he handed me the tube of graphite lube, and I'm going to use that because I do enjoy trying to pick locks. It's kind of a fun challenge, and I have a disc lock here that I have tried repeatedly to pick, and it's a real cheap disc lock. It should be pretty easy to pick, but the tumblers are so crunchy that it's hard to get any kind of a feel or anything like that, and I'm not good, so that's kind of an important thing to note. I'm very much a beginner, a novice, so I need things to be just right for me to be able to pick up on, okay, I felt that, move on to the next one. Well, this will hopefully get rid of some of that crunchiness, and I can maybe get a little bit of a better feel on when I get the right spot. So anyway, thanks to the landlord. Anywho, is there anything other than that? No? Didn't get anything done with the grill today, because I want to pull all the things off of it, the, whatever you want to call it, the grates. And then there's a couple of the things under that, the like drip shields for the tops of the burners. There's a couple of them from dragging it over here that it kind of came loose and slid down, so I got to straighten those out. Other than that, got our black bean burger and our potato shreds that we ordered a little while back. Got those in today, so, and got our coffee stash in today, so that's cool. So I've got quite a few cans behind me that I gotta find places to stuff there in that closet. So that's more updates, I guess, but and that's all I can encourage folks to keep doing. I mean, howdy, Lale. I mean, that's all I can encourage people to keep doing, It's, things are not getting any better, and I know I'm sounding like a broken record, and I don't want to sound doom porny or anything like that. Things aren't getting better. You're not hearing me, however, and I want to make this very clear. You're not hearing me, however, trying to scare the hell out of you over how much diesel fuel is left. Why, Watchman, why wouldn't you try to scare the hell out of us like everybody else about how much diesel fuel is left? Didn't we already go through this? Didn't we already go through oh my God, we're going to run out of DEF. There's not going to be any DEF. We're all going to die. Right. When it happens widespread, as a former president once said, read my lips. When there is widespread shortages, actual shortages, then we'll talk. I'm not saying there is an issue. I'm not saying there isn't an issue. There might be an issue, but it may not be nearly as bad as what it's being made to seem like before. That's what happened with the deaf, too. That's why you haven't heard me come on here and do diesel fuel. And that's why you don't hear me come on here with the boogeyman of the week. Do what? Oh, I put the wrong date? Oh, well. Who the hell cares? I mean, you're not into time. Are you into time? Okay, fine. I'll edit it live on their show. So if we all die, if this causes the apocalypse, when I click save, it's Jen's fault. You still there? Damn it. Okay, well, I tried. It's fixed now. Refresh your page. Hurry. 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 Ah, much better. Much better. See? See? But hey, give her a round of applause. She did a great job as editor-in-chief. She caught that, and and I got helped by the dog. So everything is in order. Anyway, what the hell was I even talking about? Seriously though, just keep at it. Keep at it. All right, let me go ahead and switch on over. We'll talk about some news. U.S. Biolab accidents go unreported, says the Intercept. You don't say. Well, let's read. Directors of America's biolabs have admitted to hundreds of dangerous accidents in the past 2 decades, but even incidents involving exposure to deadly viruses have been kept from the public view, an investigation by the Intercept has revealed. Lyme disease, anyone? People have it in their minds that lab accidents are very, very rare, and if they happen only in the least well-run overseas labs. Rutgers University molecular biologist Richard Ebright told the media outlet that simply isn't true. Their erroneous public perception could stem from the fact that, as the Intercept found, Americans don't hear about U.S. biolab accidents. The outlet obtained more than 5,500 pages of laboratory incident reports from the U.S. National Institutes of Health, compelling the agency to release the documents through a Freedom of Information Act request. Rot-row raggy. Many lab mishaps are reported to the NIH, the world's largest funder of biomedical research, but the agency doesn't pass on the information to the public, even in cases involving Level 3 and Level 4 biolabs. One such incident occurred in 2016 when a graduate student at Washington University in St. Louis, accidentally pricked her finger with a needle after injecting a mouse with a recombinant strain of the chikungunya virus. The Intercept said. No, they didn't. The Intercept doesn't know how to pronounce that either. The student didn't tell her supervisor about the accident until after becoming ill and seeking treatment at a local hospital emergency room. Well, if I get pricked in a hospital, I'm going to be looking behind me. Let's see. The university disclosed the accident and infection to the NIH, where the report was kept under wraps until the Intercept came calling 6 years later. That's not a good situation, said Scott Weaver, a University of Texas immunologist. Well, you just say it however you want to say it. An expert on the chikungunya virus. If that person... And I'm doing the best I can with this. If that person knew they had a needle stick, a prick, and they were working with chikungunya, they should have reported it immediately, and then whatever healthcare people saw them should have recognized that there was a very small, but not zero, risk of them transmitting the virus. And it goes on to talk about what the hell that chikungunya is, and even talks about being bent over. Oh, in pain. In pain. Let's see. Anyway, yeah. So apparently, lots of stuff. That just covers, I believe, that one incident, maybe? Well, it says the Intercept investigation found a wide range of other biolab accidents over a period spanning 18 years. For instance, 2018, a U.S. Food and Drug Administration researcher in Maryland contracted MRSA after working with the antibiotic-resistant bacteria. So, yeah, I have no doubts of that report. Have a sip of coffee. I deserve it. Okay, maybe not, but I'm getting one anyway. Love that slurpage. Didn't really mean to do that, but it happens. Alright. Gotta have a couple of vapes. Gotta change flavors tomorrow, too. I don't know, maybe not. I might have another day's worth I can squeak out of there. Okay. We're going to shift gears and continents and going to talk about EU gas prices. Spot prices for natural gas in the EU. And the reason this stuff is important, folks, is because it's coming here. In fact, I was listening about how this whole, going to electric vehicle thing is. And you guys know I love that technology, but those that pay enough attention to me know that I'm realistic about it. And right now, today, we can't do it because batteries. But we could fix that. All it takes is a want to. And to stop suppressing the technology. That's literally all it takes. Well, their plan is that by 2035, not necessarily there won't be any combustion engine vehicles anymore, but there won't be any for sale. The only vehicles that will be able to be bought in 2035 will be electric vehicles. Now, mind you, and I know John Kerry was talking about it, but now mind you, what was it? The EU, I think it was, said that's what their thing is. In fact, they just put a whole new, whatever law, whatever in, that by 2035, they have to be selling nothing but... Now, I don't know over there if it's selling or driving, or just the selling, like they're saying here. I don't know. But that is why, when things like this go on over in the EU, I talk about it on our show. Not only that, we're not the only people on the planet, but that's why, because we're seeing all of this stuff come here. So spot prices for natural gas in the EU rose about $1,400 per 1,000 cubic meters during trading on Thursday, making a 9% jump, according to data from the London Intercontinental Exchange. That's a significant jump. The price of gas futures for December delivery at the TTF hub in the Netherlands opened trading up 3.7% at $1,333 per 1,000 cubic meters, later climbing to as high as $1,405. Some experts cite fears of belated but inevitable seasonal drop in temperatures for pushing up energy costs. Natural gas prices have been falling throughout October and the first days of November as a warm spell delayed the heating season, providing some respite to struggling European economies. Concerns about winter supplies have gripped the EU for months, spurring efforts to hoard fuel. Data from Gas Infrastructure Europe shows the continent's gas storage sites at nearly 95% full, with the biggest reserves in Germany at 99%. Economists, however, warn that risks remain high as global supplies are tight. They point out that despite the recent decline, the price for European gas is about 4 times higher than normal for this time of year. 4 times, right? Analysts say next year could be even harder as refilling inventories is likely to be more challenging without Russian supplies, which happens to be the next article of discussion. Now, I'm telling you, I'm fearful for what's going to happen in this country. And in fact, I think I've got close to $15 I can spend, from Patreon. Not quite, just under. And I think I'm putting it towards diesel fuel. And I'm being honest. I know that's not a lot, but it's not nothing. And like I always tell you folks, you do what you can. You put your chin up knowing that you did what you could. That's all you can do. But if you made that effort, you pray to the Father, if it's in His will, He'll see you through. So I know from experience, it's how it works. So, yeah, I think I'll probably get about $15 worth of diesel. And like I say, it won't give me a whole lot, but that's $15 more I didn't have before. And that's our backup. Our backup on two different instances, whether we were to lose, say, the grid altogether, not have power, or if electricity, the cost of electricity goes through the roof, then we can offset it with that thing. It should be cheaper than, it should be considerably cheaper than running the electric for heat. So, anyway, if I had the way to do it, I'll be honest. If I had the way to do it, I'd get a couple of 55-gallon drums of heating oil, and that's what I'd do. I would use primarily that heater. Absolutely. Would save a fortune. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Now I need a sip of coffee. All that digressing. EU gas prices are crisis. Hell, read it. I'll just read it with you. No, I'm kidding. EU gas crisis must worsen next year, or may worsen next year. Hell, I can't read it. Says IEA. The energy crisis in the EU may last through 2024. The International Energy Agency said on Thursday in its new report on the future of the energy market. Man. According to the document, the agency expects gas shortages in winter 2023 to 2024 because European countries may not be able to refill storage facilities during the summer months. The IEA explains that replenishing stocks this year benefited from key factors that may well not be repeated in 2023, including Russian pipeline gas deliveries, which were close to former levels for much the first half of the year, despite having since dwindled due to sanctions and technical difficulties. The region also benefited from China's lower liquefied natural gas imports in the first 10 months of 2022, which freed up LNG on the world market and allowed the EU to compensate for the drop in Russian gas deliveries with increased LNG purchases. In the event of a full cessation of Russian pipeline gas supplies to the EU and recovery of Chinese LNG imports to 2021 levels, the new IEA analysis shows that Europe could face a challenging supply-demand gap of 30 billion cubic meters during the key period for refilling gas storage during the summer of 2023. This gap could represent almost half of the gas required to fill storage sites to 95% capacity by the start of the 2023 to 2024 heating season, the report says. IEA head Fatih Birol said next winter may prove to be much harsher than the upcoming one. When we look at the latest trends and likely developments in global and European gas markets, we see that Europe is set to face an even sterner challenge next winter, he warned. Well, honestly, I think so many things are going to be so different by next year that none of this even makes a damn bit of difference as far as trying to take guesses as what's gonna happen. I really do think that the world is going to be facing much worse and much more threatening crises, because I think there's going to be a ton of things. I'm not trying to be a doom glimmer, but man, All right. Shift gears again a little bit. At least as far as the country. Serbian president warns of hellish winter. Well, I said country, but you know what I mean. European countries are in for a hell of a winter due to the skyrocketing cost of energy, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić said on Thursday. Meanwhile, the government in Belgrade has done its best to stockpile natural gas in case the pipeline supplying the fuel via Turkey is sabotaged. Good question. I don't know that that's on tap at this point as far as, the aircraft. As far as the future, what doesn't really make sense is the one place that they could really use hydrogen fuel cell technology is in aviation. That would be badass in aviation. But, I think there'd be too much fear involved. Because, come on, I get it. If one of those fuel cells exploded, it wouldn't be pretty, but they can build things. But no, I don't think they're going to, I don't think they're going to try to do anything like that as far as electric aircraft. Let's see. This here says European countries are in for a hell of a winter I already said that. Where was I? Oh, this actually just goes over the stuff that I was just covering, I believe, but just in different currencies. No, it's a little bit different area. But it's pretty much saying the exact same thing, other than, okay, Serbia is not a member of the EU, though. Yeah, so it looks like they're one of these countries that's kind of going to take the real brunt end of everything that's going on in this energy war. That's crazy. That is so crazy. And then, switching gears again, we got this. We'll see what happens. I'll read a little bit of it. Benjamin Netanyahu will be the next Prime Minister of Israel, according to the vote count published on Thursday by the country's Central Election Commission. Current PM Yair Lapid has called his rival to concede the election and pledge an orderly transition, Israeli media reported. Preliminary results show Netanyahu's coalition with 64 out of the 120 seats in the Knesset, with Lapid's alternative mustering only 51. The Likud leader outperformed his pre-election polling, which showed him at only 60 seats. Officially ratified results will be published next week. The state of Israel is above any political consideration, Lapid said on Thursday. I wish Netanyahu luck for the sake of the people of Israel and the state of Israel. The administration has been instructed to prepare for an orderly transfer of power, he added. Netanyahu is Israel's longest-serving prime minister with over 15 years in power. His 12-year ruling streak ended in May 2021 when his former aide, Naftali Bennett, joined forces with Lapid to form a slim majority. Tuesday's elections were Israel's fifth in 4 years due to repeated Knesset deadlocks. So, we'll see. I have a feeling that the situation between Israel and Iran is going to change very rapidly. So, Biden aide speaks of one final warning. I'm sure that many of you probably have heard about this. I am kind of at a loss. When you say things like this, okay, let me read these first three sentences. The White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain stated on Thursday that U.S. President Joe Biden's pre-midterm speech was intended as one final warning to so-called election deniers, meaning Republicans pushing for tighter voting laws or questioning the legitimacy of his 2020 victory. Okay, why are you still on that, Joe? In a primetime address from Union Station in Washington, D.C., Biden claimed on Wednesday that democracy is under threat from Republican candidates on the ballot next week, 300 of whom he called election deniers. So he just put out a blanket statement. Every Republican on the ballot is an election denier. That's what the president, the so-called president of the United States, said. This is a dangerous precedent. And I had an article that I had closed because I already had enough tabs open. I closed the article out, but it was one of the View, or I think it was the View, one of their hosts likened Republican women, women Republican voters, more or less, as like cockroaches. And I'm like, look, I'm not a fan of either team. I'm just smarter than that. I get it. I see what's happening. I get it. I understand why the forefathers of this country despised political parties. Because they had to deal with that. Much like we are today. They had learned the lessons and moved on. We forgot them and are going through it again. It is what it is. The fourth turning is true on so many levels. But anyway, 300 people. So basically trying to say that all the Republicans are election deniers. And that's not even remotely the case. Goes on to say, I think the president decided a few days ago it was important to issue one final warning on this issue, Klain told MSNBC. He added that the president aimed to leave no doubt that we have people out there peddling the big lie, people now raising the issue of election denial in this election, and of course the horrible incident involving Speaker Pelosi and her family, referring to an attack on Pelosi's husband that Democrats say was politically motivated, but some conservatives see as the actions of a mentally ill, drug-addicted nudist, to quote Fox News' Tucker Carlson. Well, I think that it was some kind of kinky sex thing. And I'm not the only cat that suspects that. I mean, come on. They're both in their underwear. Really? Really? And I wonder, is there any other things that, I don't know, people that want to run around in their underwear? Is there anything else that they may use zip ties for other than looking for Nancy? Do you think that a drunk and drug-induced escapade could have gone awry? I do. And I think that's exactly what happened. But that's my opinion. And then this turns around and it gets used against the Republican Party. It's messed up. It is absolutely messed up. And what it seems like to me is that they are already trying to build their backstory for either one of two things. Either they get slammed through the dirt, or And I kind of have a sneaky suspicion Democrats are going to have a completely unexpected comeback. Much like Joe Biden did. Oh, damn, that makes me an election denier. Let me tell you something, Joey. You don't get to tell me what I question. Ever. And I'm not even one that will sit here and completely question what happened in 2020. Yeah, I damn well wonder. But I'm also realistic enough to know how many people he pissed off, meaning Trump. And as I had said on this show more than once, I don't even think that it was so much Trump that foamed so much hate out of the left. I think it was the Trumpsters. Absolutely. Trump didn't help, but I think it was the people that were just going out of their way to be brash individuals over politics. Now, you tell me, what would make you more likely to take action? Somebody that tweets out stupid crap? Or non-stop people all the time that give you crap because you had a Democrat sticker on the back of your car? Or a Republican sticker on the back of your car? I know what was going on during Trump's time in office. I saw it. I heard it. And I'm not excusing nothing for nobody. But I do believe there are a lot of people that got out and voted in 2020 that didn't before. Same as I think there are a lot of people that got out and voted in 2016 that didn't before. I think there are a lot of people that went to vote for Trump. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of those people that went out of their way to vote for Trump, I don't think they necessarily voted for Trump in 2020. I'm not saying they voted for Biden. I'm not sure they voted. But then in 2020, I think what happened is you had another group of people that just wanted to see him out. And so they voted for Biden. Now, those people are like, holy hell, what did we do? And come 2024, they won't be voting Biden. Probably won't be voting for the Republican pick either. There's something that they call those people. Do you remember what that is? Oh, the silent majority. Yeah. The silent majority can absolutely sway an election, and I think that's what happened the last two elections. Now, if you were to try to tell me that Biden takes away a 2024 win, I'll tell you that you're absolutely full of shit. I think Gumby could run against Biden in 2024 and walk away with a landslide. But, you know, the way it is. By the way, Trump's in the news as far as, supposedly, and this isn't the first time, but supposedly he's about to come out with whether or not he's going to run. So, yeah. It is what it is. But I don't know. I look at all this stuff and it's kind of like, okay, well, which bow is going to break first? Which levee is going to give? and got more coffee behind me. So the first levy might not be my mental state. That's good. Hey, that sucked when there was like no 100% Colombian Folgers to be found. Well, I mean, there was if you wanted to pay $35 for a thing of it. Okay, I'm back. UK is too deep in Ukraine conflict, says Moscow. So, I mean, Boris is no longer large in charge over there. Damn it. Because it would be so funny to be able to say that Johnson is too deep in Ukraine, or Johnson is too deep in Zelensky conflict. Anyway, my maturity level for the night. Proof of the UK's alleged involvement in a recent drone attack on Russia's Black Sea fleet will become public within hours, Russia's ambassador to London, Andrei Keelan, said on Thursday. In an interview with Sky News, Keelan claimed that Moscow knows about the participation of British specialists in training, preparation, and execution of plans against the Russian infrastructure and the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. He also said that the detailed information about the attack, the main responsibility for which Moscow lays on Kiev, had been passed to Britain. When pressed by the reporter to publicly reveal evidence supporting Moscow's claims, Keelan said that it will become public pretty soon, perhaps today, perhaps tomorrow. It can bring us to the line of, I would not say no return. Return is always possible. But anyway, we should avoid escalation, and this is a warning, actually, that Britain is too deep in this conflict, Keelan emphasized. In his opinion, the situation is becoming more and more dangerous. Keelan's remarks came just a few hours after the Russian Foreign Ministry summoned the British ambassador to Moscow, Deborah Bronert, over the UK's supposed link to the attack in Crimea. According to the ministry's statement, Bronert was warned that London's hostile actions could lead to unpredictable and dangerous consequences. Russian Defense Ministry earlier claimed that British instructors had led the training of Ukrainian troops who carried out the aerial and seaborne drone attacks on Russian ships at the Sevastopol naval base in Crimea on Saturday. A minesweeper was damaged in the raid. The British Defense Ministry denied the allegations. Ukrainian authorities have been reluctant to acknowledge their responsibility for the attack. And like I told you, same with like the bridge and same with like the pipeline. Okay? Those are others that are doing that. And that's why on these particular incidents, Ukraine's not coming forward. Zelensky's not coming forward and say that was us. Because you know what? It wasn't. It wasn't. I don't know if that would be plausible deniability or not. Anyway, Pentagon reveals stance on strategic assets in Korea. U.S. does not plan to permanently base strategic weapons systems in South Korea at this time, but will evaluate that position in consultation with Seoul and Tokyo in order to deter any attack from North Korea, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin told reporters at the Pentagon on Thursday. In a brief press conference after his meeting with South Korean Defense Minister Lee Jong-sup, Austin mentioned a recent arrival of U.S. strategic assets in the peninsula, or to the peninsula, prompting a question from CNN. We don't have a plan to change our permanent or stationing of assets on the peninsula currently, Austin replied, before rephrasing no new deployment of strategic assets on a permanent basis, but you'll see assets move in and out on a routine basis. A number of fifth-generation fighters, the troubled F-35s, were recently deployed to the peninsula. They are taking part in Vigilant Storm joint drills, which Austin called one of the largest exercises in recent history, involving over 240 aircraft. Lee made it clear that Seoul's policy on denuclearization had not changed, and therefore his government was currently not requesting the U.S. to redeploy its tactical nuclear weapons to the Korean peninsula. North Korea fired around 100 artillery shots and 6 more missiles into the sea between the Korean peninsula and Japan on Wednesday and tested an intercontinental ballistic missile on Thursday morning. So that happened this morning. Well, the good thing is we're not putting a bunch of nukes over there yet. We want to, clearly. Oh, man. I am sore and tired. And tired and sore. Let's see. Okay. Have a couple of vapes. We'll start going through these. There's quite a few. Or I could just sit here and vape. I don't care. Oh, you might. Oh, okay. Well. U.S. officials seeking probe into Musk Twitter deal, says Washington Post. Bolsonaro urges protesters to clear roadblocks. North Korea fired intercontinental ballistic missile, Seoul claims. Tap water recycled 10 times before you drink it, says a study. India to stay in Russian energy project. France to restart nuclear reactors, says Energy Ministry. Moscow allows parallel imports of popular toys. UN Security Council votes against probe into U.S. biolabs. Imagine that. Craters discovered at Nord Stream blast site. Musk trolls AOC's reaction to Twitter plans. Luxury contraband up for auction in France. Car plows through pro-Bolsonaro protesters blocking the road. EU gas giant reports €40 billion loss. Terrorist plot foiled at Europe's biggest nuclear power plant, says Russia. Turkish minister comments on extraditions by NATO applicants. Let's see. Harry Potter fans asked to stop leaving tributes for house elf Dobby. I guess there's a bunch of people putting socks at a particular location. Well, mostly socks. Other things too, but I don't know. I've never seen the movies. So, or read the books. Don't know. Don't care. Elon Musk to fire half of Twitter's staff, says Bloomberg. Former Pakistani PM shot in assassination attempt. Housekeeper accuses Amazon founder of racism and mistreatment. So, I mean, you say he didn't tie the ball in your mouth tight enough? And, but the handcuffs were a little too tight. Oh, okay. U.S. becomes EU's second largest gas supplier. A South Australian state to criminalize abhorrent sex trend. And that would be apparently the trend of the male sneakily removing the condom. And, yeah. Is that really an issue? I'm not from there. But is that really an issue? Or is this just another way to hang men? I question it. North Korea hits out at awful mistake by the U.S. By the way, a life sentence. A life sentence. So, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The only way a man could prove his innocence in this is if there was like video or first-hand witness evidence. Right? Right. Right. So it becomes one person's word against the other. Right. Right. Well, we've already got a lot of that going on in the system right now. We don't need any more. North Korea hits out at awful mistake by the U.S. Russia and Ukraine hold new prisoner swap. NBA legend accused of exploiting trans daughter for financial gain. UK announces biggest rate hike since 1989. Canada kicks Chinese firms out of rare minerals sector. Russia warns UK of dangerous consequences. Sense of national unity in Russia on the rise, says a poll. Russian MP urges doubling of military service time. Study sounds alarm over forever chemicals in pet food. UN finishes inspection of Ukrainian nuclear sites. NATO member to send arms to Ukraine despite opposition. Pre-election poll shows Democrats failing. I wouldn't have thunk it. Serbian president warns of... Oh, I covered that one. Switzerland rejects request to send ammo to Ukraine. Tory-linked firm involved in secret Africa campaign, says The Guardian. Voters expect Republicans to impeach Biden, says a poll. Art museums roll out protective measures after protests, says media. Portugal considers dropping golden visas. TV host likens white Republican women to roaches. Irish priest insists deputy PM will go to hell. Trump expected to make announcement on presidential bid soon. Zelensky's wife hopes Musk's tweet is about peace was a mistake. EU country to apologize for slavery, says media. UN passes resolution condemning the U.S. Russian soldiers share emotions after prisoner swap with Ukraine. And that is the headlines. Whew. And did it in just under an hour. Imagine that. There was quite a bit of news today. Quite a bit of nuisance. Nuisance? Nuisance. Maybe that's where the word nuisance came from. The news is a nuisance. No. Me doing the news is a nuisance. That's probably more likely. Anyway, I'm going to take my nuisancy and skedaddle. No, I'm going to get out of here. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Try to get something done for your preparedness. Just pick something. Focus on it and make it happen. So anything, no matter how big, no matter how small. I'm serious. I wasn't joking. I literally got $14 and some odd cents. And if there's enough, I'm going to round that up to $15 even. And when Jen goes to pick up groceries, I'm going to have them get some diesel. Serious. And it's not a lot. But do you know what? It might be enough to last a couple of days, a day or two. And that might be all I needed. But if I didn't do it, so no matter how big, no matter how small, just work towards it. Anyway, I am out of here. I hope you all have a great weekend. God willing, we will be back Sunday. And I hope to see you then. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.